Good evening everyone and welcome to the first Mech Merlin stream of 2024. Congratulations Zay the Banana, Hubert the Mad, Rufus, McFloofus, love your name, and Arceril for being the very first on my channel for 2024. Today it is another board that is supposed to go into group buy, or it's going to be an in-stock sale first, and then if you don't make the in-stock sale it will have a group buy option. The North American vendor for it will be Divinikey. This is the Daring Run DR70F. You'll see that the cost is still at $999 simply because it's not available yet. And even if you did have $999 to buy this board, I bet you none of these buttons would actually work. You wouldn't be able to add it to your card or make an actual payment. But as you guys can see, this is an F-row-less TKL with a macro key cluster either to the left or to the right, because you can choose to have this as a southpaw or as a regular layout. And as you guys can see, the price here, the actual price is $139 and $159 for the wireless edition. Hopefully you guys caught my unboxing. If you didn't, you can check out YouTube. It's this 13-minute thing where I unboxed it. The main takeaway is that it uses ribbon cables, and I feel like if you compare it to the TKD Cycle 7, at least my particular unit had a little bit more blemishes. Mostly on the insides, but I did find like a little tiny scratch on the outside on the bottom of the board. This guy came in a nice fancy case. It's a rubberized case as well. I already have the PCB out, and I did get a silver unit, as you guys can see. They sent me a plate for the usual layout, but I do want to build mine in southpaw layout, so I'll be using the plastic plates that they sent over. And as always, I like to pre-populate my builds with my stabilizers so that you guys don't have to watch me lube and affix them. And yeah, you'll see that it's all in one piece, but these are breakaway tabs right here. But before you do that, make sure you undo the ribbon cables before you do any of that. There we go. Okay, so instead of pulling away, they actually flip open this way. Hopefully I don't break the PCB. There we go. And then we want to do the same with the macro cluster here. There we go. Just be careful about actually breaking the actual PCB. So make sure you put the leverage where it needs to be. Alright, all snapped off, good to go, and I do want it this way. Yeah, as you guys can see from the main PCB, I've opted to use the 7U layout. Okay, oh, it's kind of fragile there. And then we'll put the plastic plates on. Okay, yep. And like so. I guess we don't really have to worry about the corners quite yet. Here we go. Tonight's switch of choice is a switch I received a long time ago. You may remember that I built the Brutal V2 with this. These are the Cherry Blossom Linears. They are a fully palm switch, palm housing, palm top and bottom, and actually the stem is P3. It has 65G spring weight. What else can I say about it? No factory lube, but it is very, very smooth. It is also a 3.9mm stem. No, I'm actually not going to attach these quite yet. I realize if I'm going to be moving these around, I kind of want to not have these dangling. Now, you may also remember that the Brutal is actually a soldered board, so I did have to desolder these. A lot of people may tell you that don't use desoldered switches for hot swap. It's not that they have to be brand new switches, it's that when you desolder them, you have to desolder them properly and make sure there's no solder residue or extra yeah, extra solder over on the leg or like at the base of it. All right, got all the pieces in. Plenty of switches to spare. All right, let's plug it back in. Actually, hold on. Before I plug everything in, let me pull out the actual keyboard. The only thing I've done to this board is put on the feet. Here are the gaskets. And here is the little, what do you call this? This is the thing for the LEDs. Whatever it's called. So in fact, we should actually put the gaskets on first. So these gaskets look like they are, I don't know which way they go. Okay, no instructions, but yet when you look at the gaskets, you can see that the slit that they go in is definitely not in the center. So I'm going to assume that the deeper portion goes deeper in this way. That is the assumption I will make. Much faster too. First time chat, I was kind of interested in this board as a tenant coat, but then I saw the gasket strips. That is tough. The gasket strips? The ribbon cables. What's wrong with the ribbon cables? Mind you, there is equipment from the 70s and 80s that use ribbon cables, and it's still functioning to this very day. Is it a longevity issue for you? Is it a maneuverability? Curious to see what your opinions are. The Neo 65 that ran fairly recently just came with the ribbon cables that were barely long enough, and those broke so easily, so it's... Oh, okay. I would not judge your, or I would not generalize the whole ribbon cables over one experience, because I've definitely had really bad experiences with the other form of cabling, you know? Oh, interesting. They have two places to like put the ribbon cable, because it depends how the board is shifted. That's interesting. Okay. If they are short, yeah. So some of the foams that this board comes with is plate foam. There's also IXPE foam. You know, if you want that marbly sound popularized by the jelly. And then there's also case foam as well. Two forms of case foam, actually. I purposely omitted the plate foam just because I'm already using very clacky switches. And I kind of want that to be more pronounced. There we go. I could put a second one in, though I don't think you need to put both of them. Should I put both of them? Sure, why not? Let me try it out with both. This could be interesting. It could be bad or it could be good. Yeah, I guess this is where this is another further weakness of ribbon cables. There's no standard of like how they go in. It's not like a JST connector, you know, where it goes in one way and one way only. If you try to cram it in any other way, you will fail. There we go. Okay. Not bad so far. Oh wait, I totally did not put in. There we go. This is to prevent light bleed. Let me break out my third hand. It's not that kind of channel. Okay, before I button it all up, let's just plug it in. Plug it in and see what happens. Okay, it's not quite detecting it. There we go. Keyboard Assistant. And yeah, you guys can kind of see it. Kind of see the light here. Let me turn off one of my lights here so you guys can see it. There we go. It's really faint. It's really, really faint. I meant to handle all the PCBs at the same time. Hold it all tight like that. Oh yeah, it does come with 2 extra gaskets in case you lose your gaskets. Okay, let's see. There we go, okay. You would think that this wouldn't make a difference, but I guess it was thick enough to make the case bulge a little bit. BRB meeting, are you at work right now? If you are at work, I am very honored that you would watch me during your work hours. Just a Zoom meeting. All right, we got it. Let's see, does it still light up? Yes, it does. Perfect. All right, guys, I am gonna be putting on Canon Cap's Big Blue on this. This was actually the set I was gonna put on my model OLED, but then I really wanted that like vintage look on it, so I didn't want to do this one. This one is basically classic beige, but with blue sub-legends and all that. I think it'll look good on a silver board. There we go. All right. Or should I just do this one? Here we go. Let's just put Alt keys on it. At least it's the same profile. There we go, guys. Southpaw FR70. Go. I like how it sounds. Oh, cool. Okay. So if you do caps lock, it turns all red. Alright guys, this is the DR70F, soon to go into in-stock and group buy over on Divinikey and also on, here, let me paste the link in chat. Supposedly by the end of the month. I built this with PC plate, no foams except for the case foam, and it is using cherry blossom switches and a Canon Caps PBT cherry profile called Big Blue. So without further ado, let's do a quick typing test. I like how these switches feel a lot. I remember, okay, so I first used these switches on the Brutal V2, but I didn't get to keep the Brutal, so I had to extract those switches and put them on this guy. And I like these switches just as I did back then. How the board feels pretty good. I specifically took out the case foam, or sorry, the plate foam and the IXPE foam, because, you know, last year I built a lot of my boards with that marbly jelly-like sound. And while I do enjoy that sound, I'm getting kind of tired of it. So I took it out, and I really wanted to hear these switches, so I didn't include plate foam either. But, you know, the Brutal did have plate foam, and I'm noticing that this one's a little bit more echoey, if you know what I mean. I think I could rebuild this with plate foam and make it sound a little better. I do like how it sounds already though, but I just think the plate foam would make it sound even better. Any hint of resonance? I think, yeah, I think so, but like you said, it's just like a hint. I don't hear it like echoing throughout the entire chassis. Because I do have like case foam in there. So the question is, do I like this better than my Cycle 7? I think in terms of feel and sound, I'm gonna say yes. But in terms of looks and actual usability, I still prefer my Cycle 7. I'm not too sure if I'll ever use the macro column. Like, just because on a TKL, I don't really use the function row either. So I don't know if this will do anything for me. But I will definitely use the arrow keys over here. I think the only thing I really don't like about it is that this is the first board that I've unboxed and built in the last year, I'd say, which had surface imperfections. And, you know, like, I feel like at this price, $139 to $159, that's fine. But then I have something like the TKD Cycle 7, which when I unboxed it, there were no imperfections. And that's roughly the same price. So I'm like, they could do better. But it could also be just this particular unit, you know? And by surface imperfections, I mean, I found really tiny ones on the inside, and I found a small scratch that I could barely show on stream on the bottom of the board. Yours might turn out perfect, who knows? Yeah, so yeah, I think it's a pretty good board. I don't have anything bad to say about it, especially since it's 139 or 159 Bluetooth. Like, dude, seriously, if this board came out in 2017, 2018, 300 minimum, I'd say, because it's a gasket mount. It's a gasket mount with gasket socks. It's got it has IXPE foam. Like, this is basically like, you know, it has the same features that the Jelly had, you know. And it's 139 bucks, so really good deal. But yeah, thanks guys for joining in. So it was a really quick stream just because it was a very quick build, as you guys saw. I did have a little trouble with putting the two halves together, but I think that might just be a skill issue, if you know what I mean. But yeah, thanks guys for joining in on my very first stream of the year. There will be more. I'll still be building keyboards throughout the remainder of 2024. Other than that, thanks guys for joining in, and I will see you next time. Goodbye everyone.